Cozy meals are at Panera. We're talking curled up on the couch in a blanket, comfort show binge sesh ready, kinda cozy. Because what goes better with a rerun than a warm bowl of broccoli cheddar soup or the always classic bacon turkey bravo? So throw on the throwbacks, hit that delivery button, and make the ultimate cozy meal at Panera. Do you ever wish you could transport yourself into your favorite show? Just step into Stars Hollow and sip a coffee at Luke's. Maybe sit back and watch Taylor Dosey get worked up about nothing. Well, for one Gilmore Girls superfan, that actually happened.
The context of the scene was a bunch of actors were in Stars Hollow, and they had overtaken the Dragonfly Inn, and they were all on their cell phones.
That's Kevin T. Porter. You can see him in the background in this scene of the show. Lorelai's looking around the dining room at the inn.
Hey, was Michelle in today? Did I miss him?
I'll sit on the schedule. He's on vacation. New York, I think.
Right. A lot of hotels in New York.
We were like texting on our phones in the scene. It's very funny that we were uninterested in whatever was going on.
Funny because uninterested couldn't have been further from the way Kevin felt, standing on the set of a series that meant so much to him. Not only did he get to be on the show, he also got to meet some of his heroes, like Gilmore Girls creator Amy Sherman Palladino.
I remember Amy offered us some like really weirdly flavored sunflower seeds, like pickle flavored sunflower seeds. And I was like, oh, thank you. And they were disgusting, but she liked them.
And Lauren Graham, who played Lorelai Gilmore.
Lauren was lovely to us and quite warm. And she was like, wait, we got to get a picture before you guys leave set. And was very sweetie about all of that. So it was a fun, nice day. And it was something, too, where it's like, okay, thank God we're in the background. If you know who we are, that's a fun Easter egg.
It's an Easter egg because Kevin is the co-host of the fan podcast, Gilmore Guys. And the journey to how Kevin got to the set of Stars Hollow is a wild one. We'll get into it shortly. But Kevin's time on set, especially meeting Amy Sherman Palladino, was a huge deal for another reason. Remember, last episode we talked about Amy's strong vision for the show, and how that was really what made fans come back again and again. Gilmore Girls originally aired for 7 seasons, but Amy and her husband Daniel actually only got to work on 6 of them. And fans like me have feelings about that.
The 7th season is a little rough. We don't like to discuss that season.
The show that Amy poured so much of herself into had its 7th and final season finished by different writers because of a contract dispute. And the show just felt different, like a little bit of the charm was taken away, and they threw in some storylines that felt a bit too far.
Stop! I chose you. I married you.
Lane, are you okay? Did the doctor say you have a parasite? In a manner of speaking.
I'm massive. I'm Marty Schwarzenegger.
No, I can tell you're looking good.
And you are more beautiful than ever.
So when major plot twists happened in that season, I know you remember that trip to Paris. Fans were left wondering, is this what Amy would have done?
And I remember recording the finale of Gilmore Girls on a DVD to watch later. And I watched, I was very disappointed, obviously, as so many people were, with the 7th season finale.
Fast forward 7 years to 2014, the entire series hit Netflix and had its big streaming boom, and the Netflix audience was ravenous. At the time, other fan bases were able to rally behind their favorite shows from the early aughts. So-called marshmallows raised $6 million to fund a Veronica Mars movie. It's not so far-fetched to hope for more Gilmore Girls, right? That's what fans like me and Kevin were thinking. The Netflix boom presented a rare opportunity for Amy, the chance to end her show the way she always wanted, and the way we always hoped she would. This episode is all about that special fandom. One that feels a lot like the neighborhood in Stars Hollow. Without it, a Gilmore Girls revival may have never felt possible.
It was almost like being pastors of a church in a way, and we were just kind of like the figureheads leading the flock.
What is it about Gilmore Girls that inspires people to come together?
It's become this really great group of people that considers ourselves this family.
And what can it teach us about what we're missing in our daily lives?
The show is very much about a community and a sense of community and helping each other and all that. And I think people are lacking that, and perhaps they're yearning for it.
From Connecticut Public, I'm Chloe Wynn. This is Generation Gilmore Girls, a show about the TV we love and how it shapes us. Episode 2. Play it again, Amy. Fans are very attached to the show.
It's like comfort. I don't know, it's like a hot cup of coffee.
She can only watch things with rainbows and butterflies. That's the Gilmore Girls.
They're like, oh, it's just a show, but it's not just a show. Like, it's just a big connector.
People told us that when they were really going through it, they turned to Gilmore Girls.
When COVID hit, my daughter was having a lot of anxiety and things, and it became one of those things like, okay, we need something to bond and do together. It's on our TV constantly.
That kept me company while I was nursing and just taking care of my oldest one. So I would just have it on play all night long for all those midnight feedings.
Anytime I've had a long day and don't have the energy for a new show or something with more drama, you guessed it, I turn on Gilmore Girls. Kevin T. Porter, the fan who actually got to be in an episode, remembers Gilmore Girls getting him through a tough time too. He was 11 years old, hanging out with friends, and one of their cousins got into a car wreck.
It was a little serious and there were some unknowns at the time and it was very scary.
Everything was fine, but while they waited for some news on the cousin, he remembers one of them saying,
"Well, I taped Gilmore Girls. We could watch that while we're waiting."
The zingers, the warmth, the small town safety, it offered calm when real life didn't.
I remember that even at the time being a sort of, ooh, there's some chaos happening in our lives and it feels a little tense and there's discomfort and we don't know certain things. Let's put on this show that is sort of a soothing, calming balm of a TV show to watch.
It stuck with him, and he revisited the show a couple years later.
I was in a part of the house that was kind of separate from the rest of the house, and then my dad walked in. He was like, "What are you watching?" I said, it's called Gilmore. I'm like 12 years old, 13 years old at the time. It's actually pretty good, if you think about it. And he was like, this looks strange. And it wasn't even that strange, but I think maybe the fact that I was 13 years old or 12 years old and watching it was the most strange part.
12-year-old boys weren't exactly the target audience, but he didn't care. The humor, the rhythm, the heart of it all pulled him in. And when the show made its way onto Netflix nearly a decade later, Kevin got an idea. He posted a message on Facebook saying, "Hey, who wants to start a podcast called Gilmore Guys?"
Where we talk about every episode of Gilmore Girls. Who wants to co-host? And then Demi, I believe, replied on Facebook and said, "I'd be down."
That's comedian Demi Adejuibe.
And that was pretty much it. Like, we had lunch the next week, and I was like, if you want to do it, we could do it. If you want to commit to 153 episodes or whatever it was. And he's like, yeah, let's try it. And so we did, and we recorded like a week or two later. Guys, this is Gilmore Guys.
Welcome to Gilmore Guys.
Hey, everybody.
The first episode.
Are you stoked?
I'm so stoked.
Demi had never seen Gilmore Girls, so that was part of the fun of it. Would he love it? Would he hate it? Would he start drinking too much coffee and move to Connecticut? They began recapping episodes and talking about everything, from the fashion to the cultural references. There are tons of rewatch pods like that now, but at the time, they were one of the first. It was 2014. Their show dropped right around the time of another huge podcast, Serial, by This American Life.
And I am very certain that a lot of our listenership was due to just the rising tide that lifts all boats. And then we would be on lists that are like 10 podcasts to listen to after you're done with Serial. And we're like, hey, if you want to, come listen to us, sure.
And they started adding other voices to the show, like comedian Jason Mantzoukas, musician and podcaster Rishikesh Hirway, and actor Sarah Ramos. and the podcast took off, like really took off.
I think of one show, I believe it was in the fall of 2015, that we did in Washington, D.C. at the 6th and I Synagogue. That's the name of the venue. We opened, as we often would, with a very dumb song or song parody. And then afterwards, there was a sound that the crowd made where I was like, really? And it's like, but to be clear, this isn't like tens of thousands of people. It was like 650 people or something like that.
It felt like the crowd was cheering for the Beatles.
But I was like, whoa!
Sure, the audience was there for the podcast, but Kevin says it wasn't just that.
Those were people that spent a decade plus watching a TV show that they loved.
The impact of that love really struck him.
It was almost like being pastors of a church in a way, and we were just kind of like the figureheads leading the flock in some ways.
The Gilmore Guys fan base continued to grow, and stars from the show even came on. It was spring of 2015. They had a conversation with the actor who plays Grumpy Diner owner Luke Dames.
Scott Patterson came on our show and started kicking up some rumors about, there's talks of maybe doing new episodes.
To all of you people around the world, I will say this. There are talks going on at the moment. I can't really go into any detail, but there is some activity.
Kevin and Demi's ears perked right up. For fans of a show that never got the ending they hoped for, this was big news, and it got dropped on their pod.
And then that got aggregated by all the news sites at the time and all the Entertainment Weekly and People and blah, blah, blah.
Suddenly, Kevin and Demi were part of a big news cycle. But it all felt like speculation. That is, until fall of that year. TVLine.com broke the news. Sources confirmed Amy Sherman Palladino inked a deal with Netflix to make a Gilmore Girls revival.
I remember reading the headline. I was in public, and I got a little emotional, but it wasn't purely emotional in the sense of, oh, good, there's going to be more episodes of this thing that I enjoy so much. It felt like a weird. It was intermingled with our podcast and the experience of doing it, and then the opportunity to do more of it.
A year in the life, 4 mini movies. The original cast, and the ending that Amy Sherman Palladino had always wanted.
It was kind of disbelief because that was sort of an engine for our conversation on so much of the podcast was, would they ever bring it back?
Kevin was excited, but also a little nervous.
It's always monkey's paw to ask for more of what you liked before, for the legacy sequel, for the remake, for whatever the case may be, the reiteration of the IP. And there's pros and cons to it.
Like, what if it's not as good? Or what if it changes the way you think of the series? Around when the news dropped, they started joking. What if we were on the revival? They had gotten to know the casting directors.
And it was a funny thing of like, we would reach out to them and we would have like relationships with some of the cast and crew as they were making the episodes, but not wanting to be annoying weirdos and overstep our bounds. But then they would start talking a big game of like, hey, you're definitely going to be on.
Sure enough, Netflix PR reached out, and Kevin found himself inside the show that once comforted him. Not a starring role, just a background moment. But for any fan, that's the dream. To walk through the door of your favorite world.
There was something very sweet and satisfying and validating about being on the show. It felt like a very satisfying conclusion to the journey of doing the podcast, where we just started because we thought it'd be fun and we wanted to do a comedy show with our friends. And then it ends with us being on the show.
For fans like me, it was emotional to see these characters back on screen again, all grown up. And even if I didn't love everything about it, I don't have plans to rewatch those 4 episodes for a while. It still felt like coming home.
I've missed you, kid.
I missed you too.
How long's it been?
Feels like years.
Coffee and tacos.
But for Kevin, the emotion was even bigger because he wasn't just a fan. He was part of it.
I mean, people fantasize about this with TV shows that they really care about. They watch Frasier or Friends or Cheers or something. They're like, oh, I wish I could go to Cheers. I wish I could like be in the show. And we got to be in the show. It happened. It came true.
What started as two comedians joking about coffee and pop culture became something bigger.
I did not work in podcasting before then, before 2014. And now I've been working in podcasting for 11 years because of the show. And there's people that I never would have met that I'm friends with, I'm close friends with to this day because of the show.
So gone are the days of Kevin watching Gilmore Girls alone in a separate corner of his house. Now, fans gather around the Gilmore guys, not just for laughs, but to feel connected.
There's people that express very positive, meaningful, deep impact of the podcast to me, which to me is like when you get a DM years and years and years after we've released any episodes of Gilmore Guys, and someone says, oh, I'm on my 5th re-listen.
His story is proof that connection can start with a TV show and end with real-world love and care.
When you hear stuff like that, it's like, wow.
Kevin knows firsthand how much the media we love can shape us, and that feeling seen by a TV show isn't the end of the story. It's how we pass that feeling on.
Well, Gilmore Girls changed my life, which was not supposed to be the case.
And now he's part of a fandom that still meets regularly, even 25 years after the show's premiere.
It's kind of like, I feel like the fairy godmother of the festival. I just kind of sprinkle the dust and bring all the, clothing items, and Cinderella turns into Cinderella on her own.
That's after a short coffee break. Cozy meals are at Panera. We're talking curled up on the couch in a blanket, comfort show binge sesh ready kind of cozy. Because what goes better with a rerun than a warm bowl of broccoli cheddar soup or the always classic bacon turkey bravo? So throw on the throwbacks, hit that delivery button, and make the ultimate cozy meal at Panera. Who wouldn't want to live in Stars Hollow? Everything you need is right there in walking distance. A diner, a bookstore, a movie theater, a market. Okay, maybe small towns aren't for everyone, but this one has a lot going for it. When someone's pet dies, the whole town comes together for a funeral.
A funeral? Whose?
Who's for the neighbor's cat? Mom?
Hold on, I'm looking up aneurysm in our medical dictionary to see if I just had one.
Everyone's in each other's business, for better and for worse.
Rory Gilmore is here. What? She's over here, asleep with the bag boy from the market.
It's quirky, it's wholesome, and for some fans, it sounds like somewhere they'd want to live.
I think just that idea of a town green or a town square where you can walk to get your coffee and your news and your dinner and to your school, it's just so appealing.
That's Jenny Whitaker. She's a fan of Gilmore Girls. So when she heard creator Amy Sherman Palladino and the cast planned to do a panel, she was super excited.
I really love the show, and friends of ours run the ATX TV Festival in Austin, and they had in 2015 a big Gilmore Girls reunion. They had about 20 cast members, and I went to that panel and I thought, this is incredible. Look at all these people here for Gilmore Girls.
The panel was celebrating the show's 15th anniversary. It was a big deal. The first time since the series ended that most of the gang was back together again. Everyone wanted to know, would they address the revival rumors? The ones stoked by Scott Patterson on the Gilmore Guys podcast? And Amy had said she knew the last 4 words she wanted to wrap up the show. So people flocked to this panel for answers. Media outlets wrote live blogs and listicles for the fans who couldn't be there.
I don't think I realized it was such a following. I didn't realize it was a group of fans that big. Obviously, the show went on for 7 seasons, so people loved it, but I just didn't realize people were still watching it.
When Jenny was surprised to find that no fan festivals existed yet, she got an idea.
The wheels started turning. I work in public relations marketing, and I've done some events in the past.
So why not create her own festival?
This would be a really incredible weekend if we could make a whole weekend event out of this.
The next summer, Jenny found herself road tripping through New England. It was just months after Netflix and Warner Brothers officially confirmed the Gilmore Girls revival was happening. And before she knew it, Jenny was putting together the first ever fan festival, and it would take place in Connecticut, just like the show.
We had 6 weeks before the festival was going to happen. We sold out tickets in the first day. It was like 10 hours. We're watching these ticket sales. Oh my gosh, people really want this. This is incredible.
And her festival drew tons of attention. NPR even covered it.
The fictional town of Stars Hollow is the backdrop for the Gilmore Girls TV show. Based on a real town called Washington, Connecticut. This weekend, some fans are making a pilgrimage to celebrate the show's return to screens later this year.
More than a dozen stars from the show joined in too, and Jenny's hosted an event for Gilmore Girls fans every year since. Today, it's known as the Firelight Festival, named after a celebration you see on the show.
It's kind of like, I feel like the fairy godmother of the festival. I do a ton of work, but I don't do a lot to maintain the community. The community maintains itself. I just kind of sprinkle the dust and bring all the, clothing items, and Cinderella turns into Cinderella on her own.
The festival has moved around the world. It started in Connecticut, in Washington, and then Kent. They did one outside of Toronto, another in Maine. They even had one over Zoom during the COVID-19 pandemic.
So we did it from my living room. And it was a great event. We had the most fun. We had 40 cast members that year because it was virtual and everyone was craving community. And so that was really great.
They have costume contests and trivia and book signings and even karaoke.
There's so many different things for everyone. There's a dance party, there's dance lessons, there's just all the things that you would think in a kooky Stars Hollow.
But Jenny says the reason fans come back every year isn't really about all of that.
They're there to see the people that they've become friends with.
There's even a word they use for it.
Eris Alvarado, who plays Caesar on the show, I don't know if he coined it or someone else did, but he was the first one to really loudly say, "Welcome to the fan-millie."
Get it? Fan-millie? Like they're family of Gilmore Girls lovers?
I think that that's what this has become. It's become this really great group of people that considers ourselves this family that gets together once a year. And I kind of, not cringe the word, but it sounds so funny, but I'm like, I guess that's kind of what this is, because people will come no matter where we put the festival. It doesn't matter which cast comes. I mean, they want them there, but it doesn't matter which one. They love them all. It doesn't matter where the location is, what time of year it is, what we're doing. They're coming for each other. And I think if we stopped doing this, it would still be these people getting together.
I had to experience one of these festivals for myself, so I went with our podcast team to one of the most recent events in Guilford. And what we found was special, almost like a summer camp for Gilmore Girls fans. Huge trees with yellow and red leaves lined the town green. That's the park/central meeting spot that old New England towns are built around. It's where Stars Hollow holds all their cute town events, like the picnic basket auction, or the knit-a-thon.
Come on, we gotta keep knitting. There's 7 more hours.
What's the point?
The point is, it's fun. It's a festival. We haven't even gotten rowdy. We haven't even repped Taylor and yarn yet.
Guilford even decorated the town green for fall with homemade scarecrows, and at the center of it was a big white tent welcoming fans of the show. Volunteers passed out t-shirts and even boxes of Lorelai and Rory's favorite junk food.
Hey, forgot your red vines.
Oh, wow. You totally saved the night. Thanks.
And helping to check in fans was none other than Mrs. Kim herself, actor Emily Kuroda. I died. There, I met husband and wife Lauren and Jared Spiegel from Massachusetts. Lauren got Jared into the show when they first moved in together. Now they're both fans. They even dressed up like Richard and Emily Gilmore for a costume contest.
They're all crazy like me. I mean, how many other people can you say are so obsessed with a TV show that you're willing to travel across the country to come to a festival that's just designed around it?
Right. But
So-
I would also like to add that the obsession is what makes you come the first time.
Yeah.
And then it's the friendships, really, that make you continue to go back.
When Jenny started the festival, she said there was nothing else like it, but not anymore.
And then all of a sudden, Now, I mean, every time I turn on any type of social media, I see another festival or another event.
More on the other fan events after this coffee break.
Hey Generation Gilmore Girls listeners, want to dive deeper into another TV show? Check out our first season, Generation Barney. It's about the purple dinosaur, but it's also about music, love, and the Barney backlash, toys, and nostalgia. Most of all, it's about the television that helps us become who we are, from the station that helped launch Barney into the world. Find Generation Barney wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey friends, admit it, you're enjoying Generation Gilmore Girls and want even more long-form storytelling like this. So do your part. Consider supporting Connecticut Public with a donation. Connecticut Public is a nonprofit media organization. Support from members and listeners like you make podcasts like this possible. Visit ctpublic.org/donate to contribute $5, $10, $15, whatever you can. Now, let's get back to Generation Gilmore Girls. We talked with actor Yannick Truesdale the week after he'd gone to a different fan festival here in Connecticut.
We just have like the greatest fans.
Yannick played Michelle Girard, the grumpy but lovable innkeeper on Gilmore Girls.
I'm not talking to them.
Yes, you are.
Well, I'm not talking to them nicely.
But Yannick is far from grumpy with fans.
They're so kind, they're so appreciative, they're so connected to the show and the world and the characters and Michelle.
I'd been standing in that same crowd and knew exactly what he meant. The Weekend in the Life Festival in New Milford, Connecticut felt wholesome. Lots of mothers, daughters, and best friends, waiting in line for meet and greets with members of the cast. Most fans dressed up in shirts with show references, like Team Luke or Team Max or Give her coffee and she'll go away. Some girls dressed up in prep school outfits to match Rory's Chilton uniform.
Ladies, how was it? It was really fun. Like, I don't know. They don't have words.
There's something almost magical about these events full of smiling people coming together to celebrate a show that ended about 2 decades ago. How does Gilmore Girls do that? We asked Yannick.
It's such an anomaly. It's such a rare thing to have a show 25 years later to be as popular that it's hard to analyze.
Yannick mainly credits the writing, and he has another theory too. Life today feels very different from the low-tech world of Stars Hollow.
I think we have lost the sense of community. You know, I took the train the other day, which is something I really do, in the subway, and I was like wondering how it's going to be, just as far as like people recognizing me, if it was going to be too much. And then I realized that no one looks at each other anymore. Everyone looks at their phone.
Don't we all wish someone would look up and acknowledge us?
I think humans are social animals, so I think everyone kind of craves it without them knowing or not.
For Yannick, Gilmore Girls launched his career here in the United States, but it also did something else.
For me, without really realizing it, I was looking for something or a place where people would notice me and be like, oh, you actually matter.
And he found it through acting.
For the first time in my life, I felt seen. It was a really important moment in my life where suddenly I felt like I had a purpose or I had a place in this world and I could do something that people would actually care.
Yannick is from Montreal. He was acting there, getting parts and awards, but he decided to make the move to LA. He was struggling to find work in this new city, so he decided to set himself a deadline. He needed an acting job by his birthday or else he would head back to Canada. Luckily, Gilmore Girls came around right in time.
I got that audition and that contract 2 weeks before my birthday.
It's nice to hear Yannick talk about the community around the show because, as fans know, his character, Michelle, was kind of an outsider in Stars Hollow.
Well, he's a French man who, for some unknown reason to me, moved to that town. That's always been a question. What is he doing there?
Yeah, what is he doing there?
The smallness of the town was annoying to him at times, and It was a little too country, rural, lifelike. From, in my head, he's from Paris, so big city. Definitely a fish out of water situation here.
Michelle, the phone.
Mm-hmm. It rings.
Can you answer it?
No. People are particularly stupid today. I can't talk to any more of them.
And Unique remembers another key part of playing Michelle, the accent.
It was a compromised accent, because the accent that I wanted to do was even more Parisian, where the TH, the French, they don't know how to do the THs. That's why the French, they talk like this. But Amy thought it was very hard to understand, so I kind of pulled back. We were, I would say, the first couple of years, I would say, she was always like, "Oh, honey, like I can't understand you." Like it was always a thing, which was a bit challenging for me.
Even though Stars Hollow isn't everyone's cup of coffee, Unique says he thinks the town is partly what pulls fans in.
The show is very much about a community and a sense of community and helping each other and all that. And I think people are lacking that, and perhaps they're yearning for it.
Gilmore Girls aired during the age of landlines and flip phones. It gave us a world where people looked up, showed up, and stayed connected, something we're still craving. At least that's what FanFest organizer Jenny Whitaker thinks.
It's what we all want to be, is like who we are and loved for it. Like that doesn't happen in a lot of TV shows. No one's laughing at anyone. Everyone's being celebrated for who they are. Everyone celebrates Kirk for lots of jobs or Luke for running a coffee shop.
Where the hell did you get that much money? I've been working for 11 years, Luke. I've had 15,000 jobs. I've saved every dollar I ever made. That and the miracle of compound interest has created a bounty of $250,000. Again, just under. I don't want to brag.
And I think that it has a lot to do with how people want the world to be, but it's just not anymore sometimes.
Jenny thinks the family works because of what they see modeled in the small town of Stars Hollow.
You have everyone from Mrs. Kim to Miss Patty. I mean, in a real world, they probably wouldn't choose to be friends, but on that show, they make sense. The uptight antique owner versus the super loose ballet teacher. And I think that's the beauty of Stars Hollow, is there's so many characters, there's so many different lifestyles, and yet they can all have a good time.
Just like the fan festivals.
Oh, the show changed my life because it brought so many people into it. Friendships that I would never have had.
That's what we heard from lots of fans at Jenny's event in Guilford. Fans like...
I'm Ella Spice, for real.
Ella told us that the world can feel isolated, especially after COVID. So having these friendships feels more important than ever.
I'm a mental health professional, and I see so much that there's more and more disconnect and more isolation. And, technology certainly brings us certain luxury, but it also really distances us from people. And I think this event is presence. We've been craving each other, so this is connection. This is everything our hearts crave.
Ella introduced us to her son, Ross. She takes him to the Firelight Festival every year.
And the community has just, adopted him.
They started going when Ross was 13. Now he's 20 years old, and he still attends annually with his mom.
I really stood out the first time that I came because this is largely a group of women, and I am a man. But also, I was a boy when I came.
Ross remembered how at the beginning of COVID, he was turning 15. It wasn't possible for him to celebrate around his friends. It was a tough time for a lot of us. But this family, the friends they made at these Gilmore Girls fests, they were determined to find a way to celebrate him. So one fan organized a secret gathering of gifts.
I'm a chef, and she organized everyone that she knew that comes to this festival to all send me a recipe. and she put it all in this humongous binder and call it Ross's Diner.
Like Luke's Diner?
Like Luke's Diner.
But it was with the font and the coffee cup, the logo of Luke's Diner, so it said Ross's Diner. It was unbelievable.
Over 500 recipes.
The next year I got a whole second book.
Yeah, like a second chapter to it or a second edition. It does make me emotional. They just enveloped him with so much love, so much more than I just can't even imagine it. And to see your child just showered with that is a gift that you can't even describe, you know? It's so much. It's just so much. And that's what we look forward to every year, is coming back to our family.
Something tells me that if Rory turned 15 during a global pandemic, the Stars Hollow community would have rallied around her in the same way. So when most of us think of the show, we think of the actors, like Yannick, who made it.
I think it's every actor's dream to have at least a character, a film, a movie, a series, a play that defines them, that people remember decades later, like a moment in time where you can, I always think like when I'll die, on the news, they'll say, Yannick Truzel, who played Michelle in Gilmore Girls, like it's the reference. And so there's something into that for sure for me. Like I've had this happen to me in my career, and it's a beautiful thing, and I'm very appreciative of it.
But today, 25 years after the pilot aired, some say the show also lives on because of the fans. They're the ones that proved there was enough audience for the revival. And they keep showing up, for the actors and each other.
I can't tell you. It's thousands of people by now have told me, like, when I went through this, or I had cancer, or I had lost my mom on a breakup, or I lost my job, or I had a depression, or this or that, and your show helped me. And that is, to me, wow, really, really meaningful that the show can do that for people.
The television we love really helps us become who we are, in a lot of ways. It can inspire interests, even careers, and it can bring us together. And that lives on well past the premiere of any TV show. In some ways, Amy Sherman Palladino and even fans of her show have created this fictional Stars Hollow together. A place that lets them explore how they wish real life could be. But it's kind of a fantasy version of a real place, my home state. Next episode, we look for the real Stars Hollow.
A couple years ago, my mom was like, have you ever heard of a show called The Gilmore Girls? She's like, I'm watching it, and it's so good. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, it's based on the town I grew up in.
This is definitely Stars Hollow.
It's my life. I could identify with everything. I obviously live in Connecticut, grew up in Connecticut. So I think that, it was very familiar. Yeah.
That's next time on Generation Gilmore Girls. This episode was reported, written, and produced by Lily Tyson and me, Chloe Wynn. It was edited and produced by Cassandra Basler. Sound design and mixing by Jay Cowett. Music in this episode from APM. Megan Fitzgerald is our project manager. Ayanna Brown and Tyler Russell are our visuals producers. Our show art was created by Sam Hockaday. Additional editing help from Sabrina Herrera, Robin Doyon-Aiken, Jonathan McNichol, and John Henry Smith. Thank you to our interns, V. Zhuang and Tale Ricketson. Marketing support provided by the Podglomerate. Legal review by Lou Levy from the firm Lerman Center PLLC. Lauren Komorowski is our Chief Digital Officer. Vanessa De La Torre is our Chief Content Officer. Thanks to the fans who talked with us. This episode we heard from
Mary Ellen Malfetta.
My name is Lauren Spiegel, and this is my husband, Jared Spiegel.
Anita.
Arianella Sticconi.
Kim Thorgerson.
Heather Lau.
Abby.
Carrie Nicolette.
Riley.
I'm Ella Spice, for real.
And I'm Ross, her son.
Harry Gallagher.
Lisa Stein.
Lockie Coughlin.
To learn more about the podcast and to see photos and videos, visit ctpublic.org/Gilmore. Generation Gilmore Girls is a production of Connecticut Public.